just rolled out of bed. I'm gonna take this lid off. Ooh, the whole house smells like, I promise you, like Thanksgiving morning, because that's how I start out my Thanksgiving cooking. You can see everything is cooked. Let me grab a fork. Show you how this chicken, whoop, just falls apart. So, you can see, I think you can see, let me see if I can get that any closer without. See that broth? See all the richness in that? So, chicken's just falling apart. So I gotta let that cool for a little bit. I'm gonna take the chicken out and then I'm gonna debone it and get my broth ready to make us some chicken noodle soup. All right, taking this chicken out, I use something like this, so, because the chicken is just gonna absolutely, yeah, it just absolutely falls apart. You can see some of the celery and the onions are gonna be in there. Pull all this out so I can let this cool. The whole chicken always makes the better broth because it has all the dark, the white, the bones, which plays a big part in broth. So I'm gonna strain. I'm gonna let, I do have to finish letting this cool because I cannot mess with this. It's just too hot as far as even straining this broth up. So I'll end up straining this broth to get all the onion and celery out of it. It'll just be the pure broth when we get done. So, and I just go ahead and break this chicken apart so it can start cooling as well. Because you can see the smoke coming off of that. I can't touch that. We're going to let all that cool. And then I go through this like a fine-tooth comb because I do not want any bones or gristle in anything that I'm going to eat. So, stay tuned. I'm going to go ahead and get this chicken ready. And I'm just going to break this chicken apart. I pull all the skin off of it. I feel around for any bones, any gristle, anything that could be in it because we don't like that. And I'm just, let me see if I can get this bowl where you can see it better. Just dropping the bigger pieces right in the bowl. This is me touching, feeling, getting all the dark pieces off that the kids might go ooh at. What is that? Pulling the skin off of it. Ooh, that one's still a little hot. May not have quite waited long enough, but I'm pulling all these pieces off, and I just stack this up in the corner of my pan because I want to make sure I keep it separate from what we got going on. That one's a little hot. Let's see if we can move on to something else. I'm picking, here's the thigh, and literally it just falls right off the bone, y'all. So that's what I like about putting it. I don't even like those little fatty pieces in mine. So you talk about going through this. I go through it. And that's because if you've got kids eating this, they're kind of funny about it too. So you don't want anything that's going to turn the kids off. I just pick those little brown pieces off. Just try to make this as kid-friendly. And really adult-friendly too, because who wants to bite into pieces of fat? Not me. If you want to eat the fat, I'll have you a little pile of it over here. So, you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to continue on and do this whole chicken. That's a little hot. There's some more of those little gristly pieces. We pull those right on off. Even the little brown. This is where people get kind of grossed out. They don't want to, either don't want to touch it, don't either want to mess with it, and they sure don't want to eat it. So I try to take all that out of my chicken. And that way when I use it for all the recipes I use, I know when I freeze this that I've done the best I can going through this and don't have to worry about Like the little pieces of celery go over there as well. You know how kids are. They don't want anything green. So, and then every now and then I get to my favorite piece and I'm gonna eat it every time. So, you can see some of these little fine bones. That's why you just really have to be careful. Well, nobody want to crunch on that. That's why I'm squishing around, getting all this fat out. Look, just falls off the bones, so you got to dig through this. You don't have to, I mean, but if you're wanting to put your meat up or use it for other recipes, or like for today, chicken noodle soup. Got the big chunks of onion in there, and we just push all that stuff off to the side because it's not going back in. I will drain this pan up because it's got some good broth sitting in here with this chicken. So let me finish getting this fat. Well, nobody want no clumps of fat. At least I don't. Some people argue about that's where the flavor's at. Well, it's going to be over here in this pile. You want to dig through it, go for it. It's not going to be in my soup, though. Little wings, you can get the little meat off of it. You just got to be careful with your bones. And as you can see, I keep that right over there over this big discard pan. And see what I end up with? That's going over there in the pile. In the pile that we're not eating. Now somebody may come through and dig it, but you know, not me. Bones just, you know, laying here in the pan. Got to get the meat out of there. So, you know, this takes a little bit of time, but it's so worth it in the end. You've got all this delicious meat that you've cooked in the crock pot. Well, actually, I didn't do anything. I put it in the crock pot last night when I went to bed, and here I am just crawling out of bed, and now I'm going back through it. As soon as I get done with this, I will go get dressed, and we're going to start the noodles. So let's stop this here. So it's a little bitty tiny bone. You just got to watch for them so they don't get in your soup. Okay, I've got all that chicken deboned and off. You can see I got me a nice little bowl full of nothing but pure chicken. And then here's the container of the things I did not use. So I'm going to take this and I will strain that just to get the rest of that liquid out of there, just to be a part of my broth. So for the busy moms, like back in the day when I was actually working, I did this at night. Let me take that back. I put the chicken on to cook in the morning, so when I got home from work, the chicken would be done, and then I could take it and debone it. I would also make my noodles the night before so they could lay out on the counter to dry. So when I got home from work that next evening, I would have my broth ready to go, my noodles already done, and all I had to do was cook this, which takes about 30 to 45 minutes to boil and get your noodles done. It may not really take that long, it just seems like it's that long, but I'll let you know on that part. But make this as simple as you can according to your schedule. You know, it doesn't have to be on a weeknight, be on the weekend or whatever, but this is so worth it for a pot of homemade chicken and noodles.